Hi everyone, it's Olga from SEO Sly. Welcome to the SEO podcast by SEO Sly. Today I have a very special guest. This is Lidia. Lidia, how are you doing?
Hi, I'm good. It's so nice to be here with you, Olga.
Yeah, I am super honored that you are here with me, and I hope I will learn a lot from you today. I am sure I will. So, Lydia, if someone doesn't know you, if there is such a person on earth, can you briefly introduce yourself?
Yes, my name is Lidia Infante. I'm the senior SEO manager at Sanity.io. I don't know, I've been doing SEO for like a very long time.
Uh
I
huh.
really enjoy it, and I love sharing women's success on my Twitter, on like some weekly Twitter threads that I make about the women in SEO. And yeah, I love giving back to the community. I think that's just more that's more an accurate representation of who I am more than who I work for. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks. And can you tell me more about your like when you exactly started, about the beginnings? Take me like all the way back to how you
Oh yeah.
started SEO. Yeah, until
It's
today.
such a weird story, and
I
had
want
I
to hear
known
it.
that that project was going to be a professional thing, I would have
Uh huh.
chosen such a different name. So I was working as a PPC manager for like a clothing personalization company. And of course, I was sitting next to, like our SEOs and our webmasters, and I was learning a lot from them. At the same time, I was having a bit of a feminist awakening, and I like to write about women's rights, and I like to write
Uh
like
huh.
tutorials or comedy or opinion pieces. So I ended up creating a feminist magazine in Spanish.
Oh.
Um, yeah, it was um, it was an activist magazine. It wasn't like one of those like serious journalism with like gender perspective. It was more of a yeah, of a fun, crazy stories, jokes,
Uh huh.
bit of everything. Also, it was collaborative, so anybody could submit their content to the magazine, which I thought was a really clever idea by someone who was working on this with me. So I would have, like some time every day to edit 3 articles, maybe write one or two of my own and push them on social. Um, and that's how I actually learned to do SEO, just by like having a very big volume of articles to optimize every day.
Uh huh.
Um, I became a bit of an SEO editor at the time. Also, like platforms like Facebook were cutting down traffic to publishers, so we eventually ended up like in zero almost from from social traffic, which made it super necessary to learn how to do SEO so that the magazine could like reach others. We also realized that there was a lot of confusion amongst like Spanish women on what is and isn't abuse and what you can do if something happens to you. For example, there's like a phone number that you can call in Spain, but
Uh
nobody knows
huh.
what happens if you call, right? Like there's no set expectations of how you could be helped. So we wrote about it because we figured out people were searching about it and they were going to land on either no information or even worse, incorrect information. So that is how I got into SEO. Turns out one of my readers was the editorial director at one of Spain's biggest magazine publishers, and she called me in for a chat, and I left an editor.
Okay.
It was so
So
cool.
so when was it? Like 7 years ago? I'm guessing 10.
I
How many?
think that was it was 8 years ago,
8. Okay.
8 or 9, yeah. And before then, I have been in marketing now for 10 years and a half.
Okay. So before that, you were doing PPC, right?
PPC, and before that, I was doing social media PR and events.
Okay. Yeah. So that's a nice blend, an ideal blend.
It's a journey.
Yeah. Is Spanish your second or first language?
It's my first language.
Oh, okay. I thought you English is your first language. Okay.
I'll take that as a compliment. You should tell my husband. He always makes fun of how I pronounce words.
Yeah, I was pretty sure you are British, but yeah, my mistake. I haven't researched that enough.
I will tell him that. Oh, for
Yeah.
sure.
Please do. And where are you located now?
I'm actually located in Manchester now. I moved to the UK 2 years ago.
Okay, okay, okay. So maybe that's why I thought you were British.
British adjacent.
Yeah. Okay. So, and after that, what happened next?
Oh well, that was a really cool job. It was one of my favorite jobs that I had ever had. If I had had like a nicer manager at the time, I'm
Uh
sure I
huh.
would have stayed there forever. Spanish work culture is a little bit strange that way. Like it's more about like the whims of the people who work above you rather than like a defined set of strategies
Uh
or ownership
huh.
over budgets or
Okay.
objectives. So I was looking for that kind of ownership and ability to grow. So I moved to a SaaS company called Comify. Comify is like the umbrella brand name, and it owns like several different brands. So nobody would know Comify, but it was a competitor of Twilio, which is more well known, Sendinblue or SendGrid, which are more well known.
Uh
So I
huh.
worked for them for 3 years, 2 years and a half maybe. And that was because it's in the SaaS space. It was super cool, and I managed to create content strategies for like a really small search space,
Uh huh.
which was a very big challenge and very interesting. I remember like 3 months into the job, they went like, "Oh, now you have to do a technical SEO audit for these three websites. Good luck." And I was too proud to say, "I don't know how to do a
Uh
technical
huh.
SEO audit." So I was just like on Twitter trying to like read all these incredibly technical, clever people that we've got in the industry, just like absorbing everything they said and did. I um, I did the Blue Array SEO Manager certification.
Uh huh.
I did all the SEMrush Academy stuff. I think I did some Moz Academy stuff. And like after 2 days of just full immersion in technical SEO and trying different things, I started going like gathering issues here and there and like this tool and this
Oh.
other tool. And I was using Screaming Frog. That first audit we did with SEMrush. And I thought that was really cool because I quite like the way that SEMrush audits hreflang. And because the company, we had three companies in Spain, but if you counted the total number of companies we had across the world, it was too many. We've got Italy, we've got France, we've got Germany,
Mm-hmm.
UK, Australia, and we needed to. Some brands shared names, and some brands didn't. So some brands needed hreflang, some didn't.
Uh
It was on
huh.
Drupal. It was like scattered all over. Like nobody knew what was going on. So I appreciated some Russia's hreflang features. But yeah, my first ever audit was combining Screaming Frog and SEMrush, and then googling like a crazy person to understand what each of the issues meant.
Uh huh.
So after I did that, I presented like my audits like a week ahead of my deadline because I
Oh.
thought it was gonna take me a month to finish them. But like I did the one and then the next two were like much faster because I was running into similar issues. And then I read someone saying you have to prioritize your audits. And I went back and prioritized the audits. And I remember our head of SEO at the time was like, oh, if anybody needs help with the SEO audits, you can ask Lydia. She's doing such an amazing job. And I'm like, don't tell anybody that that was my first audit ever.
Oh, Jesus. Nice. That's nice.
But yeah,
Yeah.
that was my next step. And yeah, like at that point, I was fully, truly, deeply, profoundly sold on SEO. Like I had found my passion. It was my everything. So I
Uh-huh.
continued like growing in that department, and I ended up like mentoring a bunch of my colleagues. We did keyword mapping exercises and all sorts of like different optimization and research and audience
Mhm.
creation. It was super fun.
Okay. And then what happened next?
Then I went. Then I was like really bored. I was like, I need an SEO challenge. Like I want to
Uh-huh.
do many things. I want to touch many verticals. I want to see many websites and many CMSs, and I want to do everything. So crazy me. I was living in Barcelona, having like a nice little life, and I decided to apply to an agency in the UK, and they decided to say yes that they wanted to hire me. This was
Oh,
October 2020. There was no
Okay.
way to stay remote from Spain because Brexit was going to be 2 months later. So they
Uh-huh.
hired me at that point. I moved to UK to Sheffield, and I thought that, like the pandemic was over and I was just gonna come back and forth from my home and the UK. But yeah, the UK entered a pretty serious lockdown in January. So
Uh-huh.
the month after I moved there. And I've been here kind of like ever since. Of course, I've been traveling around, but it's been nothing like what I expected to move back and forth. Um,
Uh-huh.
my then boyfriend, now husband, was living in Barcelona, and he eventually moved to Sheffield with me. People make fun of me for moving to Sheffield. I thought like Barcelona is a city, Sheffield is technically a city. It's gonna be the same, but with different weather. And I was wrong, very
Okay.
wrong, Olga. So eventually we
Okay.
moved to Manchester, and life is good.
Okay. Okay. So the last job you're talking about is your current job at Sanity?
Oh, no, no, that was at Rise at Seven. Then
Okay.
Rise at Seven was also like a journey. I joined as a digital strategist. I was promoted to lead digital strategy, then to international SEO lead, where I manage a group of like absolutely lovely, incredibly professional women in the markets of Germany, Spain, and the Netherlands. And we were doing, well, digital PR for those markets, as well as I
Uh-huh.
was working as an individual contributor on digital strategy. Eventually, I moved to BigCommerce, and shortly after that, to be fair, BigCommerce was quite short-lived. I moved to Sanity, and I've been here at Sanity um, for 7 or 8 months now.
Okay. Okay. So tell me now more about Sanity.
Learning about Sanity has taken me time.
Uh-huh.
When I joined, I thought this is a headless CMS, like it works like any other CMS, but headless. Um,
Without a head.
Exactly, exactly. You take the head off, but
Yeah.
we are quite different, the headless CMS, and I didn't quite fully grasp the differences until I went and tried it on my own, and I tried it with my husband for a project, and I worked with our solutions engineer and our developer relations people to kind of like grasp it. And it's more of a composable content cloud.
Uh-huh.
Composable, as in it's microservices based. Well, not quite, but I think that's a good enough way to explain it. So you have content, you have kind of like a pool of content. That's all of your content tagged and structured to make it reusable, and we call this the content lake. And it follows the philosophy of structured content. We've got a CMS that is the
Uh-huh.
Sanity Studio that allows you to like pull from and manipulate that content and pull it on like your front end and everything you need. It is a hosted CMS. I don't know. It's
Uh-huh.
kind of complicated to explain, but essentially, people like, for example, Burger King use Sanity to power their apps, their website,
Uh-huh.
and their digital signage. So across the world, if a manager, like a digital manager, wants to change all of the signs in Indonesia, I don't know if they're in Indonesia, but like, I don't know, Thailand.
Uh-huh.
If they wanted to change all of the signs in Thailand, they could do that. Like, imagine there is a Thai specific offer, and you can just update it across the world in the signs, in the app, in the website
Uh-huh.
at the same time,
Okay.
localized and personalized. So, yeah, I think it's a pretty cool proposition. I think one of the best use cases is for e commerce, especially direct to consumer e commerce, because the use of structured content and a composable content cloud can help you make product pages that are a million times better. Like I
Uh-huh.
I think we all can imagine what a product page looks like, and you have like this Amazon idea of like picture,
Yeah.
title, price, subtitle, some description, reviews, some related products. Um, and if you're
Uh-huh.
selling this to us, like if people are selling super low stakes purchases and high stakes lifestyle purchases the same way, that does not make sense to me. Like it's the same. experience to buy a shampoo bottle from Amazon than to buy a Prada bag. I don't
Uh-huh.
buy Prada bags. I don't know why I came up with this example. Um, like Adidas shoes, right?
Uh-huh.
Um, it does not make sense because when you go buy a shampoo at Boots, you don't get the same experience that if you go to the Adidas store or to a Prada
Uh-huh.
store. So the fact that online we're getting like the Amazon experience wherever we shop is kind of boring. It's uninspiring, um, and especially for D2C merchants, it's losing them money in the margins. So obviously, if you sell something direct, you make more money than if you sell it through a distributor, and you're losing consumer insights. So you are losing the cookies because you don't get to retarget to your consumer. You don't get
Uh-huh.
to understand their digital experience or behavior. You don't get firsthand the data of what they want, what they don't want, what they like, what they don't like. Your distributor is getting that, right? So if you're selling on your site and on Amazon, why would anyone ever pay more or get slower delivery on your site if it's not the
Yeah.
experience? So that is,
Okay.
yeah, that's one of the value propositions I think, and I have become weirdly passionate about D2C e-commerce as I've worked for Sanity because it feels like such a waste. It's such a waste to offer that Amazon experience, whatever you sell.
Okay. And what are some other advantages this can give you over, I don't know, having a WordPress store,
Yeah.
WooCommerce or something like that?
Well,
Like
full
speed?
personalization, speed as well, yeah. So, because you fully own how your content's going to be displayed on your front end, you can make your, like, you can optimize core web vitals without the limitation of a CMS
Uh-huh.
that determines how your front end's gonna work,
Okay.
right? And that is an excellent feature of many headless CMSs. So I would say that, and there's like a backend experience that
Uh-huh.
it's taken for granted somewhat, but you can actually collaborate in real time on the back end or create editorial workflows that take you from like ideation to creation to
Uh-huh.
approvals to publishing and even to distribution because you can plug anything that has an API, you can plug it onto Sanity. So
Oh.
if you wanted to trigger publish Instagram story every time you publish a new article using the article title and the OG image to build it, you could.
Oh. But
So
you
like
need
there's
some technical knowledge,
oh
right?
yeah,
To be able to.
yeah,
Okay.
sure. Like I don't think composable architectures or headless architectures are for everybody. I think if you want to have a teeny little blog for yourself or a small store, have the small store, have it on WordPress, have it on whatever you feel like it's your best experience. Like I think Wix does a really good job at
Yeah.
offering a very good content creation experience for that type of person who wants an e-commerce today that works
Hmm.
today. Or for
Yeah.
example, people that don't have the budget for a development team or external developers, monolithic and traditional CMSs are a very good solution for that.
Uh-huh. And is there an advantage when it comes to JavaScript rendering?
I don't know.
Uh,
However,
I
you actually managed to set it
yeah,
up. So
yeah, because I
if you
heard
want to
that.
do it, oh, go
Yeah,
ahead. Sorry.
yeah. I just wanted to say that I heard that there is, but maybe I won't go this rabbit hole because maybe I am totally wrong. But
Oh no, it depends. So something that we have a community of users on Sanity. We've got a Slack channel, well, a
uh-huh.
Slack account, and then a channel for SEO. People can join it if they want. It's slack.sanity.io, and the channel is hashtag SEO. And often we have users asking us about rendering and JavaScript, and I
Mm-hmm.
take a look at a bunch of our websites to see if like Google is actually managing to read everything that our users are putting in there. And even with like limited knowledge of JavaScript SEO, I've not seen any big messes
Uh-huh.
or any messes at all. Um, so yeah,
Okay.
it behaves. It's hard to kind of like communicate, especially without prep.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sure,
What
sure.
like a hybrid approach to static versus dynamic websites looks
Uh-huh.
like and what you can actually accomplish with headless. But yeah, you decide what you pre-render or render like browser side.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. And can you now tell me more about the SEO meetup?
Yeah, of course. Well, anybody that wants to use Sanity, if you are listening to this and want to give it a try, we have a free boosted plan for you to just go and run
Uh-huh.
with it.
Okay. Okay. I'm pretty sure I will check this out. I'm very curious because I don't have much experience. Don't have any experience with that, but
I
yeah,
think it's
thank you.
pretty fun. We also have
Uh-huh.
some templates that you can just like spin up instantly with
Uh-huh.
blogs or marketing sites. And you just like add in your content, do your thing, and it works beautifully.
Okay. Okay. So, can you tell me more in maybe in more detail what exactly you do at your current job? Like in more detail. I am very, very
Yes,
eager to learn.
that's a very good question because I don't think like any 2 days have been the same for me.
Oh.
When I started at Sanity, we were all quite new. It's a bit of a fresh marketing team, and I work with people who are like so good, so excellent.
Uh-huh.
I'm working with a head of content who used to be at LinkedIn or like she used to be at Miro as well. She's extremely
Okay.
smart. We had a head of content relations who literally wrote the book on how to design like content experience with structured content.
Uh-huh.
So I am lucky to work with like absolutely brilliant people. So when I arrived, we were kind of missing a bit of a content machine, right? You can have an idea and create content, but there weren't clear processes for our team on how to actually go
Uh-huh.
about getting that idea live and done. So that's one of the things that I started working on, as well as enabling content strategy with a data led perspective. So analyzing what keywords are there floating in the universe that are relevant for us, clustering them, and then understanding what we need to do to actually deliver the best content in like on the internet
Uh-huh.
for those queries. I really, really like competitive analysis. So I use a competitive analysis framework for most of this. So from understanding where our domain sits holistically, right, in the benchmark against our main competitors. Do we need like more content? Do we need more? Do we need to improve the existing content? Do we need? Do Are we not tackling the same keywords our competitors are tackling? So we've got keyword gap analysis as well as SEO gap analysis. Do we need better tech? Do we need better links? Do we need more content? Do we need to
Oh.
communicate expertise better? One of the projects that we did was actually quite nice. It consisted on creating author pages for these people that I'm telling you that we work with. They're incredible.
Uh-huh.
But all we would have is their name, no link, no social media, no bio. So now, once you see their name as authors, you also get like a tiny picture, a very short
Okay.
bio you can click through to a very rich page with all of their content and some history of like what are their qualifications, how long have they been at Sanity, or maybe are they freelance contributors, what are their areas of expertise. Um, and it's all enriched with schema, right? So we're using
Oh.
person schema, same as properties to signal to Google and other search engines that this is an authoritative expert, like an
Mm-hmm.
actual real expert. But I also do a lot of like competitive analysis for specific pieces. So there's like we have three core pieces that drive the most revenue. Obviously, I cannot tell you exactly what they are, but we were trying to get them to rank number one because they weren't for a while.
Uh-huh.
So I analyzed who was ranking on the top 10. So, for example, who were dominating, what were the domains that I expected to see there anyway, what were domains that surprised me to see there, because they were probably doing something new in some way to be able to compete in those very like aggressive keywords, and then a like per like comparison of all of those pieces. So what themes is competitor X covering,
Uh-huh.
and are they doing it better than me? So
Okay.
if they were covering something that we weren't, I would assess whether or not it made sense for the user intent and add it in. If they were covering something better than we were, I would improve that aspect of it. If maybe they had a more engaging video or more engaging diagrams, I would go ahead and request that media to make it better. So it was a very focused effort on like improving the content and the fit between content and intent, um, as well as some link building efforts when the actual reason we weren't ranking is because we didn't, or the reason that I was seeing is that we didn't have good enough links.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. And can you maybe name some top mistakes when people do when doing competitive analysis, or your best practices?
I would
Because
say
I
my best practices are dividing the competitor analysis in three pillars. I like to look
uh-huh.
at technical, at content, and at
Okay.
links, like as in three separate ways, and try to understand at domain level and at page level
Uh-huh.
where I am versus my competitors. I think people often disconnect SEO from its context, and they can tend to forget that every ranking position that you gain is a ranking position someone else is losing.
Yeah.
So why are you better? It's not about being best or about being good. It's about being
Mm-hmm.
better. Not even about being perfect. It's just about being better. Um,
Mm-hmm.
So the even doing competitive analysis at all is very basic, and it's not something that everybody does. And it surprises
Yeah.
me. Like, you're not ranking in a vacuum, you're ranking in context. Absolutely check out your context. To me, it helps dividing it into links, content, and tech SEO. When it comes to tech SEO, it's kind of hard to evaluate and benchmark because we don't really have numbers to put behind that type of concept that's going to be
Uh-huh.
site wide. So, what I like doing is I use Page Speed Insights as well as the Chrome UX report for Core Web Vitals, and I try to put some numbers in there. I have in the past, and I don't do that anymore. Um, put those pages, those sites through a site audit checker and measure like the score that the sites get,
Uh-huh.
but that is so uncontextualized that it was kind of worthless to me. So now what I do is I look at which web performance optimization, so how are core web vitals, what's the page speed like, because it suggests to me that someone is working on the technical side, rather actively or not. And then I do manual checks that are relevant to my vertical. So, for example, if I was in e commerce, I would be looking at how my competitors are handling faceted navigation,
Uh-huh.
or how they're handling where their content is sitting, um, what their architecture looks like in terms of pagination or canonicalization, how are they loading additional products, um, that kind of stuff. But in SaaS, I essentially look at, is there any canonicalization in place? What are they doing with trailing slashes? Are they canonicalizing or redirecting? Um,
Uh-huh.
what does their robots.txt look like, and how clean are their sitemaps? To give me an idea of how much effort the team is putting into technical SEO. When it comes to content, to me, it's a lot easier, and I feel like it's where I feel most comfortable.
Uh-huh.
um, we've discussed my career a bit, and obviously I come from content
Yeah.
most of all. So I look at how many content pieces they are creating, and how many, well, how many editorial visits they are getting. So visits to their resources section, to their blog section, to their press section,
Mm-hmm.
um, and how many visits per URL, per editorial URL they're getting.
Uh-huh.
Because maybe they're producing tons of content, but it's not ranking. So that tells me that they're investing in content, but not necessarily in SEO. Maybe they are producing very little content, but it's all ranking really well. So that tells me that they're
Yeah.
going through a different strategy. And it's kind of like that. So I try to divide like the website, my competitor's website, into product, brand, and editorial, and understand how they're performing in terms of content for each of those pillars. Some of those pillars overlap. So when I'm
Mm-hmm.
evaluating brand content, it could be branded queries. Very often it's going to be branded queries. And when I'm evaluating links, one of the things that I do is also evaluate branded queries versus brand search volume. So
Uh-huh.
how much traffic are they actually attracting with their brand versus how many questions about their brand are going unanswered and are instead answered by aggregators such as G2 or
Uh-huh.
Trustpilot or forums. I don't know.
Okay.
I just gave
Yeah.
you a rant about competitive
Yeah, yeah, I
analysis.
love the rant. Yeah, yeah. A lot of useful tips and insights. And in addition to competitor analysis, do you also like do technical SEO audits?
Yes, but I don't do them as much as I used to because we've
Mm-hmm.
got someone in the team that can do that way better than I can.
From
Which
what
is
I
awesome because I get to learn from this person a bunch. But
uh-huh.
I am very lucky with my development team. Sorry, my I'm getting
No problem.
like a
No
fake
problem.
mohawk with my headphones. I'm very lucky with my development team. They have gone the shortest time that I've had to wait for a technical implementation once was 4 minutes.
Wow.
I don't think these developers know that we don't usually wait that little
Does
for
it
any
even happen?
implementation. It
Wow,
happened the
really?
one time. Usually I don't have to wait the 3 months, 6 months that some people in the industry report that they wait for. I feel very lucky in that regard, for sure.
Okay. 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 Is there something else you do at your job that you can share? Because like this is so interesting.
Well,
So
yeah,
yeah.
I guess I do. I manage our writers,
Mm-hmm.
so I do that, and
Okay.
SEO QA for like the content that we're going to publish, no matter if it's SEO led, product led, brand led. I make sure that we're following SEO best practice, and I take care of URL governance. Um, and I make the briefs for the SEO led content, which I think is a combination of just like
Uh-huh.
a bit of creativity, a bit of understanding of my users, and competitor analysis. Again, it always comes back to that for me.
Yeah, yeah,
So when I
yeah.
want to create a new piece of content, I want to make sure that we are actually providing the best content out in the search. I think a while ago, SEO was a lot about tricks and tricking
Yeah.
search engines into thinking that you had the best content. I think the most surefire way to rank today and also rank tomorrow is to actually create good content. So
Uh-huh.
both working with subject matter experts, which means selecting, negotiating, chasing them around,
Mm-hmm.
and knowing or researching what your users want is key to actually managing to
Mm-hmm.
rank.
Okay, so I have to ask this: where do you stand regarding AI content, ChatGPT? Because like everyone is
My
talking
God.
about this. I need to hear your thoughts.
How do I put this nicely? I
You
really,
don't
really
have to put it nicely. You can put
God,
it in
I
any way
can't.
you want.
My head's gonna explode if I see another ChatGPT is awesome kind of thing. It's just a chatbot that's very well trained in language models and can pick up what you were talking about before, but it's pulling from the like open AI GPT-3 models, and
Mm-hmm.
we've been using those for a while. Like, it is not that new. It's not that. It's just free. It went really
Yeah.
mainstream because it was free. A couple of days ago, it stopped being free. Today, I needed a regex formula, and I went on to ask ChatGPT because that's what I really use it for. And,
Uh-huh.
and it was like unavailable for free users because they had like they were at capacity.
Uh-huh.
So I didn't get my regex, and I kind of see the value of it a bit now.
Yeah.
I don't think we should be creating content through AI. I think there's creative ways to prompt the AI to give you exactly what you need. So
Mm-hmm.
if I wanted to create a super big content project where I feed into an AI model all of the differences between Sanity and all their competitors, and I want the AI to help me create 180 pages at scale and give me an intro, a description of each, and a summary of what's different between us, prompt it correctly, and it'll do a good job. And then you push those pages live and you work your way through them with a human editor
Yeah.
and fix them based on performance. So if they're getting tons of eyes, you want to make sure that they're edited by a human. If they're not getting any eyes, you need to make sure that you have not said something stupid in there that's banned you from the serves, you know? Um,
Yeah.
I think there's ways to leverage it, but those ways existed before.
Yeah.
Enough of the
True.
hype. I
Okay.
hate ChatGPT.
Okay. Okay. So I just wanted to ask, but I think I know the answer. What's your like area of specialization within SEO? So I guess this is content, right?
I am not sure. Like in the wider scheme of things, I guess content, but I think my skill set in competitor analysis makes me more of a strategist because being
Uh-huh.
able to combine um, technical skills as well as having led a digital PR team before and worked in a very
Yeah.
digital PR heavy firm before, as well as being like very extensively experienced in content strategy and creation and edition, combined with like some good project management and content operation skills, makes me more of a strategist, I would
Mm-hmm.
say.
Okay. Okay. So regarding content strategy, can you share some of your best practices, some of your processes, something, of course, that you can share?
I would
Like,
say
how
like
do you approach it? How do you approach like content strategy? Where do you start? What tools you use?
the very first thing you need to do before creating a content strategy is understanding how your business makes money and how your
Uh-huh.
content strategy is going to support that business model. So if your business makes money by getting traffic that gets them ads, that gets them revenue, you need to focus entirely on volume. If your business strategy is an affiliate strategy where volume doesn't get you money through ads, but through shopping, you need to
Mm-hmm.
focus on volume with commercial intent. If you're trying to sell something for your e-commerce, likely need a combination of creating content that's going to entice your consumers to your product and
Mm-hmm.
optimizing the content in your product pages and your product listings. So it's less of an editorial process and more of a e-commerce directed process. So the levers that you can pull in there are tags, categories, editorial, product pages, product listings, right? If you're in SaaS or if you're selling
Mm-hmm.
services, you probably have a longer journey and you need to
Yeah.
understand what that journey looks like for you and how you can best impact the business by inserting content into the journey. So, what are the user pain points? I don't know. There's like different frameworks, right, that you can use for it.
Yeah.
I think I have to assume that my hair is gonna look horrible and stop,
Your hair looks awesome. Don't
stop
worry.
messing with it. Um, so what I like to think of is the awareness funnel.
Mm-hmm.
People can be problem aware, brand aware, and like problem aware, solution aware, and brand aware. These are the people who know that they have a problem. I don't know, they are struggling getting traffic. They know that they need SEO and they want to
Mm-hmm.
use an SEO tool. And then they know that and they know that SEMrush exists, for example. That would be a person that's, well, an audience that's
Uh-huh.
problem, solution, and brand aware. Then you might have another step removed from the brand, which they know that they need that they don't have enough traffic. They need an SEO tool, but they don't know SEMrush, right? Or you
Uh-huh.
take it one step remove, and they just know they need more traffic. That is like the
Okay.
closest bottom of the funnel for awareness. But what about the people who don't know yet that they need more traffic?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
To talk to those people, you need to understand what roles are you speaking to, right? Like, am I speaking to marketers? Am I speaking to business people? Am I speaking to influencers? Um, so I'm gonna find out what they're interested about and create content around that. So in that way, I'm tackling the very top of the funnel. Then I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
move on to tackle the next part of the funnel. How do I get more traffic, right? Um, After that, I'm going to tackle the solution aware part of the funnel. Best SEO tools in 2023, or
Uh-huh.
how to choose the right SEO tool, or hey guys, what SEO tools are you using on Quora, Reddit, or Twitter,
Uh-huh.
or
Yeah.
LinkedIn? And lastly, I wanna, if people are like searching for my brand name alongside my tool, or just my brand name, I wanna make sure that the right information is surfacing. So there's like four like buckets of content that I can
Uh-huh.
be creating here. Now, if my brand shows up always, 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 always for my brand searches, and I'm happy with my brand searches, and my and Google knows what my brand is about, and I've fed my knowledge graph, good. I probably cannot extract more ROI out of that bucket. Do I show
Uh-huh.
up for all the product searches? Once I show up for all the product searches, I'm probably good, and we can move on to the next one where we're talking about pain points and problems. Once I'm dominating pain points and problems, I can move on to the upper bit of the funnel.
Uh-huh.
And that's the way that most people approach funnels until the shop. But if your business is somewhat subscription based, so for example, SaaS is gonna
Mm-hmm.
charge you a monthly fee or a yearly fee, you also need to work on retention and on how people are using your tool or your product. So, for example, I was at an event with SEMrush a bunch of months ago, and we had the SEO lead at Netflix present to us a strategy that they had devised to reduce costs of customer service.
Uh-huh.
Apparently, one of the biggest drivers of cost in customer service for Netflix were people calling Netflix and saying, hey, why isn't show X or movie X in the platform? I want it.
Okay.
And then these customer care representatives would like note it down and be like, yeah, our customers are claiming for Friends to be back on the platform, or they really want to have some Disney on. Um, and how would people reach the customer representative? They would Google how to request a show on Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
So they just created a page that ranked for those queries with a form, and that
Okay.
cut down costs significantly. So SEO is not only like a revenue driver, it can also be a cost reducer,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
it's something that you can also like play with when you have pretty big PPC budgets and some SEO budget, and you're like, well, what if I rank number one for this query and you stop paying for it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's shift that money onto maybe paid social, or maybe into getting even better subject matter experts to write for us. So
Okay.
there's many ways in which you can strategize to actually bring um, users and revenue in or reduce costs. But it all boils down to understanding your business and understanding your audience. So how does your business make money? How does your audience reach your business? And what are their pain points?
Okay. That's
I
that's
hope
a very nice. Yeah, yeah. You exhausted the topic, and yeah, this is a very nice walkthrough. So thanks for that. Okay, I'll have like a more casual question. What does your day look like? So you wake up, you read SEO news, and then
I I wake up, I have my alarm. Please,
okay.
manager, don't read this, don't listen to this podcast. I have my alarm at 8:30, and
Uh-huh.
I call the cat, and then my cat comes and cuddles here, and we spoon for a
Okay.
little bit. Then my alarm rings again at 9. At that time, my husband's coming through the door with a freshly made coffee.
Oh,
Um, so I sip on the coffee in bed for like 5 minutes, then bring the coffee into the office. I start my work. I have some meetings. I just like go through my content plan,
so
see
you
where
work
everybody's at.
remotely?
Yes, I work
Oh, yeah.
at home in my
Okay.
home office. Yes,
Okay. Okay.
I stop for like a quick like breakfast, and then some days I have either a piano class or a singing class, or I
Oh.
go to see my personal trainer.
Oh.
And then I continue just like working through my day. Um,
Okay.
Something that I really like to do, and it's extremely unglamorous. But let me see if I can. I cannot like unblur my background, but can you see
Yeah. Yeah.
this?
Yeah. Be fucking kind.
So I make root cross stitching while
Uh-huh.
I listen to an
Okay.
audiobook in the couch, and that's like my favorite thing of all time. Just
Oh.
a cup of tea, some cross stitch, and an audiobook. I'm not even 30 yet. I
Oh.
don't I don't think I should be doing this.
Oh, so you are, so how old are you?
I'm 29.
20, 29. Okay, so almost 30. Yeah,
Almost
you're
30. I'm
nice.
really excited for 30 actually.
And
I've
so
been
much
seeing on
experience.
TikTok. Oh yeah, I started working when I was 19.
Oh, okay, so very
Yeah.
early.
Yeah. At 19 I had my first marketing job. I actually thought I was going to be a psychologist because what I did in uni is psychology.
Oh,
Um
okay.
and I was looking for this summer job um to complement like my income because I used to work as like a teaching support for children in risk of social exclusion. So
Uh-huh.
children that like were in like poor families or families that had some history of conflict. So either their parents had some addiction issues or there was some violence in their home. So I had like this weird classroom. The way that the government chose to go about this is weird as well. We were in a classroom and I was pretending to teach them like math and history and stuff or
Uh-huh.
help them with their homework. But truly, like what we were doing is just providing a healthy role model and just like a space for them so they didn't have to go home right away.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Okay,
anyway,
that's cool.
I was doing that during the school year, and when the school year ended, I just wanted a job. So I was looking for a bartending job, and I went to my favorite pub, which was an Irish pub in the city center of Barcelona, and it was meant to be open, but it wasn't. So what I did is I like crumbled my CV into a ball, and I threw it through the window. And they called me
Okay.
for an interview, and they were like, "We're looking for someone to assist us in PR events and social media." And I was like, well, I'm looking for a bartending job. Like, where are we doing here? So I went in for the interview and they had like my flattened CV. It was still all crinkly, but they had flattened it.
Oh, yeah.
I offered like a fresh one. And then, yeah, we talked about some ideas for events and stuff. And the head of communications told me, like, I see you're a psychology student. My dad is a marketing professor in uni so and so, and he comes at it from a psychology angle. So I thought you were perfect for the role. I ended up getting hired. On the moment that I started working in marketing, that was it. Like, I finished
Uh-huh.
my degree in psychology and I specialized in psychology of marketing. I did a thesis on
Okay.
online persuasion to click. So like how to increase CTRs by rewriting
Oh,
titles and
that's nice. Very
sold
nice.
forever, marketing forever. I am a marketer through and through. I don't know if you've found this, Olga, but sometimes people in our industry like to pretend that they're developers, and it's like we're marketers. We are marketers.
I think we are something in the middle, I would say.
I say we are on the technical side of marketing.
Yeah, yeah.
But unless the SEO function is very dedicated to like cost reduction, or you've got like some
Yeah.
crazy infrastructure and technology to deal with, I think we're mostly marketers. And
Okay.
I'm super happy with it. I loved marketing the moment I got into it.
Uh-huh.
I thought
Yeah,
it was
I
going to be a summer job, and here we are 10 years later.
yeah, nice. That's nice. Yeah, I think I'm more on the side of I prefer technical SEO.
Hmm.
I don't like marketing that much, but it kind of it kind of is part of our job, whether we like it or we don't. So
Yeah.
regarding marketing, can you recommend some books, some resources that you find very interesting that have changed your life?
Yes. I have two books that have
Uh-huh.
changed my life. I would say one of them is Never Split the Difference.
Uh-huh.
Negotiate like your life depended on it. It's a book on negotiation.
Okay.
And it's taught me to negotiate with myself. It's taught me to negotiate with my managers, with hiring managers, with clients, with teammates.
Okay.
It just it gives you such a skill set. It is incredible. Um, then there's another book called The No Bullshit Leadership Manifesto,
Uh-huh.
which my manager at Rise at Seven recommended to me, Stephen Kenwright. And I read it and it changed my approach to work. So, one of the things about it is to assume error. Like, I am a crazy perfectionist, and to assume error changed my work and made me so much better at my job, no matter what I'm doing. So, one of the thesis propositions of this book is that you should be ready to action stuff once you're 70% sure of it.
Uh-huh.
If you go up to 100%, you've done too much work to get there. That's not actually deliver return. If you're
Okay.
if you're under 70% sure, consult with someone else. But above 70% and above, trust yourself and go. Um,
Oh, that's
it
yeah.
changed my work. I
Yeah.
really, really, really recommend that book.
Yeah. I have to
And
read it. I haven't read them. Yeah.
they're so good. And if anybody that's listening to this or watching this is interested in the psychology of why we buy, there is an excellent book called Biology, like
Uh-huh.
biology,
Uh-huh.
on the neuroscience of purchases. And it's a little bit old. So some of the stuff, it's like not fully 2023, but
Yeah.
the principles stand. And they use some really interesting examples of the tobacco industry and why
Mm-hmm.
the tobacco industry succeeded in advertising, which I'm not a smoker, never been, but I found really, really insightful and interesting.
Okay. Okay. I put those books in the podcast notes. Okay. So who do you want to give a shout out to?
I am gonna give a shout out to Aleda Solis.
Uh-huh. Me too.
Shout outs for her always.
Yeah.
Because of the role that she played in me learning SEO.
Uh-huh. So you have
And
been has she been your mentor?
no, she's never mentored me.
Uh-huh.
I've always followed her content.
Yeah.
I've stuck to her Twitter.
Yeah,
Like I've
yeah.
been
Me too.
drinking her Twitter for years now, and she always shares the best content. She shares tools, she shares frameworks that other people propose. She is an excellent content curator, but she's also an excellent content creator.
Yeah.
So her own resources are amazing. Um, and she is a regular speaker in huge, like world class events. And English is not her first language, and English is not my first language either. So I feel like she has been such an inspiration. I love
Yeah.
Elena, and she raises other people up beautifully.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally agree. Are you speaking on some events soon?
Yes, so I will be speaking at Brighton SEO in April.
Okay, I will be there, so we'll have a chance
Nice.
to meet. Yeah.
That would be so nice. I'm really looking forward to seeing you
Yeah,
personally.
me too.
So
Is
I'll be
that
speaking
one?
at Brighton SEO at MozCon SEO on the beach in Malaga, which is an
Oh,
interesting one. I've never been. I've always wanted to go. I'm super jealous of the people who go to that one.
uh-huh.
And I am not
Nice.
sure what else is officially in my calendar.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And are you part of Women in Tech SEO? I guess you are.
I am, yeah, I love the work that Arish does. And I'm very excited for the Women in Tech SEO Fest. Are you going to be going, Olga?
For the first, I won't, but I heard there's going to be another conference in the US.
Yeah,
And if it happens, then I will try to be there. So I have just interviewed Arish. So yeah, I am up to date. And
Arish
I'm
is
definitely,
incredible. Oh my God, did
yeah,
she tell you the city? It's not public, so you can't tell
no,
me.
no, she didn't. She just said there will be one in the US in September, maybe
Yes,
around September. So
I
yeah, and
am waiting until she announces it, and I might
y-
just fly there.
yeah, me too, me too. Okay, Lydia, so where can people find you?
You can find me on
Twitter?
my website, which is lydia-infante.com.
Uh-huh.
If you choose to go that route, soon there's going to be a couple of data studies that I have been working on that are quite
Oh,
interesting on the gender gap in SEO publishing and intent differences in plural
uh-huh.
versus singular keywords. Um,
Okay.
you can also find me on Twitter at Lidia Infante M or on LinkedIn.
Okay. How about Mastodon? Are you there?
I'm on Mastodon, but I don't even know my username. I think it's Lidia Infante at SEO Community.
Social, something like that. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Any final tips? SEO tips for newbies?
Think of the overarching role you play in the business, not just on the specifics. Don't
Yeah.
just think of improving this number on this tool or fixing something because a tool tells you, but know why.
Yeah. That's a great piece of advice. Okay, Lydia. So thank you very much for being here and sharing your knowledge.
Thank you
Thanks,
for having me.
everyone. Yeah, and see you in the next episode. Bye bye, everyone.